Back to the No State Project. Unbelievably, we are in the third hour of the December 8th, 2012 show here in the No State Project. Live, of course, from the Fortified Compound in Phoenix, Arizona. And I want to bring back one of my regulars, one of my best friends here. I love having him on, and I feel for I hate that he's still going through this, but I want to welcome back to the show Mike. Mike in Idaho, who is still being we're prepping to help get you through the second trial.
Mark, since I have to be here, there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, thank you for taking time away from your family life there and joining us here on the No State Project again to give us an update on what's going on with this Lori Hendrickson, who wants to prosecute you a second time because she didn't do a bad enough job the first time. She's got to screw it up again.
Well, we can only hope. Yeah, happy holidays to Lori. You know, Mark, I'm sitting here looking at her last response. Now, you had helped with a motion and a what I guess we're calling it a Brady request.
Yes.
And there were 9 items listed. And in these 9 items listed, there were a couple of them had some subsections. So really there was about 12 to I'm looking at about 14 items. And they were very specific. And we're just asking very simple questions to the prosecution. Last time, I've got it firmly in my mind with all of you guys, thanks to you, Mark, thanks to all of the people on the chat, that the burden of proof is on the prosecutor. And so I'm asking proof that I was in certain jurisdictions, that I was in a state, that I was here, the valid cause of action. I asked real simple question, alleged facts that I'm subject to United States laws, corporations, policies, whatever they are. Ask for evidence that's been presented to the court. Just real basic stuff. And her response is, well, I sent something in on this year, and I've got this revenue agent, and I'm really aware that I need to respond here, but if I do, I should do it before the trial, blah, blah, blah. And she ends up saying, therefore, the government complied with its discovery obligations and will continue should new information be developed, and it should be denied in its entirety.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. We're doing a screen recording of this, so we go through this. I love how she says she's the government. Really, I thought it was Lori. I thought it was Lori Hendrickson, and but she puts herself down here as the government. Really, isn't the judge part of the government?
Last time I checked.
That's what they tell me. So, yeah, she goes through here, and she says she gave a CD a number of years ago. The government is aware of its continuing obligation to provide, but they haven't given anything specific. So all she does here is say, yeah, she gave a CD out a number of years ago, and we've given everything. But she's given nothing specific. I've even spoken to her, and she's given nothing specific.
Completely.
Yeah, she's given Lord, I've even again, I did a follow-up. She won't talk to me. She won't tell you either, and she's got no excuse for you. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing specific, which is why. And I'm going to go here back to the at least for the rest of this segment. The judge. There's a new judge. So let me scroll. His name is Larry Allen Burns,
correct.
And he is. On the video, I know you're looking at this also. It's an order on pending motions, and he's denied pretty much everything so far. So you put in a motion to strike Lori's opposition because it was non-responsive in a copy and paste job, and we've discussed this on the show. He just says denied. He says he doesn't find that it's non-responsive and a copy and paste job. He just denied. Again, she was nothing specific. She's never once come out and said the name of a witness she relies on to prove that the code's applicable.
Correct.
And she's never been specific about any evidence that she relies on to prove the code's applicable.
If you'll remember my conversation with her in the courtroom, I asked her in a break, and I'm sure the microphones were recording this, because we had the third assessor, allegedly the third person that this original assessment was made was passed on to, and I said, well, am I going to be able to face my accuser and talk to the original assessor and find out what facts there were to even start this thing in the first place? She goes, oh, I don't need facts. I have a probable cause.
Yeah, and probable cause is supposed to be supported by facts. Duh, yeah. Not allegations, but facts. So I want to just go to the bottom here because there's not much discussion. So this is where our buddy Alan, Larry, we'll call him Larry. Larry uses 3 or 4 sentences, a very short paragraph, to discuss the motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. And he writes, the indictment sufficiently sets forth allegations of criminal activity in violation of the United States Code that were committed in the District of Idaho. The indictment establishes the jurisdiction of this court to hear and decide the case. The motion to dismiss is denied. Now, I've read the indictment, as you have. We need to get that posted. That are you aware of any facts in the indictment that would lead a reasonable person to believe that the code was applicable to you?
None.
I've read it several times. This is why, and I help, write the motion to dismiss. There's nothing in the indictment but allegations. And so this goes back to what the previous judge did, Eddie Lodge, where he was alleging the indictment, the accusation, and then the code. But again, we've got circular logic here. I even put in the motion to dismiss that it was circular and that it turtles all the way down. He keeps going back to the code. And here we've got what is supposed to be a professional adult named Larry Allen Burns, who is saying that, trying to claim here that the indictment establishes the jurisdiction of the court. How? How does a complaint devoid of any facts to show the code is applicable establish jurisdiction?
I'd love to have actually, I'm not sure I want to answer that question. It kind of scares me what they're going to come up with.
Well, I can tell you this, that they can't come up with any facts.
No,
they can give you
not a real answer.
Well, no, they can't give you. Just like I mentioned to an earlier call, they can't give you any responsive answers to that. I mean, there isn't anything in the indictment. So what I would want to do here is to challenge the judge. Look, maybe a motion for clarification. Where in the indictment specifically are there facts listed to show that the code's applicable? Where? Because the indictment's got page numbers and line numbers on it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, well, just like this document we're looking at here. It's typical pleading paper. And the indictment's on that where it's got the lines down the side, and it's numbered from 1 to 28, and page 1 at the bottom. And so Larry should be able to tell you the page and line number. So he can say, hey, listen, jerky, you want to see the facts in the indictment? There's where they are, tough guy. Go to page 2, line 3 through 5. See, that would be specific. That would be actually being responsive and answering it. Now, did Lori ever cite anything from the indictment in her opposition to the motion to dismiss?
I don't. No, I say I don't recall or I don't believe so, I'm like somewhere between 99.9% and a little bit higher.
Yeah, she didn't. She didn't.
No.
I know. She did not do that. She never got, and that has been one of the patterns here, and something that we will notice. And anybody who works with attorneys, especially bureaucrat attorneys, politicians, will notice that they stay as vague as they possibly can. That is part of the legal profession, to stay as vague as they possibly can, because it keeps, it keeps if they don't have to commit to a position, especially one that they can't support, then it's all the better for them. They can continue arguing, which is what they do. We're going to continue here on the other side. My name is Marc Stevens. This is a No Stay Project for December 8th, 2012. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go away.